there, wonderful people. It's Tam here from Willowing Arts. How are you doing, my creative friends? Welcome to another little session I'm doing for my YouTube channel, my lovely YouTube followers. Hello there, I love you. I'm excited because look what I got. I was sent more supplies by Arteza. Don't know if you remember, but for one of the last videos, not last one, maybe the one before that, they sent me some cool watercolor paints, which I enjoyed using, and they asked me, would you like to try some more of our supplies? And I'm like, excuse me, of course I do. You want to send me your brush pens because I already like using these very much by different brands, such as Tombow. Sorry for the shocking state of my nails, by the way. It's paint and all sorts. It's not just grub. I really like using things like Tombow markers, Letraset, Aqua markers, and brush pen by Ecoline. And all of these markers are usually really juicy and beautiful with beautiful bright colors. And they, the commonality that these have is that they are water-based inks. So you can add water to them, and then they activate is the term, I think, and that's really wonderful and beautiful. Jane Davenport also has something similar, although they're not quite brush pens. She has sort of she calls them mermaid markers, but hers have a proper brush, an actual brush tip. So this is a mermaid marker. Hers have brush this is a paintbrush, while the other ones that I just talked about, so Tombows, and there's a little bleep there, Tombows, and I think Arteza. I'm gonna have to find out if they are brushes or if I think they are pens. But these guys are actually markers. They have a soft tip, but they are definitely markers, you see. So that's the difference there. I don't think Jane has any brush pens yet. James, good idea, good idea. But so today I'm going to, sorry about the beeping. Today I'm going to focus you guys on trying out these very cool Arteza brush pens. And so they have sent me their set of 48, which apparently it includes a water brush pen, which I'm always excited about. I'm gonna switch the bleeping off. One sec. Okay, the beeps have gone now. Haha. So here we go. So I'm opening the brush pens up. Wow. And it comes with a little water brush, which is all that song. These are very handy. In case you don't know, you can fill these up with water. So if ever you're on holiday or something, and then you can squeeze, and then water comes out, so you don't have to bring a pot of water with you or something. Wow. I like seeing what they're like. Okay, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to briefly just apply some of these on a piece of paper that isn't my artwork yet. Okay, so let's have a look at what they do. The Tombow markers are very, again, actually it depends on the color one uses, but they are very responsive okay. Oh, these are brushes. Oh, right. So these are more like brushes than they are markers, actually. So the tips are actual brushes. That's interesting. I thought they were markers. They look more like markers to me, but they are more actual brushes. Look at that. Okay, alright. And then when you add water, you can activate them. You see? Cool. Alright, so I didn't realize that they're actual brushes. Similar to Jane's mermaid brushes. And you can do these really cool. Basically, it's like you've got a brush already loaded with ink on them. And then if you wanted to, should you want to, you can add water to them and make them more diluted. Very cool. So let's say if you get a Tombow marker where basically your tip is a marker, it's not a brush. You can do a similar thing, you see, but yeah, I can see like the difference is that this maybe the original mark stays sharper and this is more of a brush. That makes sense. Cool. Okay, and then let's say if we take a watercolor oops, marker. This is, because this is very, you can also squeeze these, Jane's mermaid markers. You can squeeze them and also activate them. This is actually quite similar color. Cool. Okay, so now I understand what type they are. So very cool. So I will be trying them out while I'm making a new piece of art for you guys. And I am going to be making a portrait of one of my sons, which is something I haven't done before, and I'm excited about doing. So I here have done a sketch. I have started the sketch here of my son Elliot, my youngest son Elliot. When I want to do a portrait of someone who I want to have more of a realistic likeness, other than like a whimsical interpretation, even though my more realistic stuff is still not very realistic anyway. When I want to basically create something that has more of a likeness, I tend to do a trace over of a photo of theirs. Because I just find that a little bit easier. I can make it a likeness, but I spend a lot of time trying to measure things out and things like that. So an easier way of getting a real likeness of a someone's face is by tracing over a photo or something like that. So this is my child, Elliot. I'll show you a photo of him as well. And I'm going to surround him with abstract symbols and colors. Some of you may have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, I like to do self-portraits at times, and then I have a style or a technique where I add symbols and colorful segments to the background. So I thought it'd be real fun for me to try this on my child's face, and I can't wait to see what it's gonna look like. And I'll probably do a voiceover as I'm working on it. But yeah, we'll time-lapse most of the creation of this painting. I hope you enjoy it. So if you enjoyed my session today, please do come and check me out on www.willowing.org, where I run online art classes that you may like to join. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Willowing on Instagram and also willowing.arts actually on Facebook. Hope to see you there. Much love. Let's get started. So I'm starting my painting here with a salmon color skin tone in a watercolor crayon that has actually sadly been discontinued. It's by Karen Dash. It's called Neo Art Pastels, and I like to use that as a first layer. And here I'm starting out with an Arteza brush pen just to see what they're like, and I'm adding green hair to my child's portrait because he recently dyed his hair green, and in fact his experimentation with his hair dye inspired my own hair dye experimentation. So he's been an inspiration to me that way. And so I'm continuing here to add different versions of shades of green, I should say, and actually something that's a little bit more turquoise as well, just as a sort of a first layers to the hair. And I'm using a wet brush loaded with water to activate the Arteza brush pen, and that works quite well. As you can see, it really kind of activated and turned it into paint. So here I'm adding, my child has brown eyes, so I'm adding some brown eyes with the brush pen and using that also straight away to add some darker tints to the nostrils and also again in the hair and the eyebrows. So I'm going to be building up the face with different shades of skin tone and additional colors, and I actually previously also used a bit of peach tone from the neutral set of Jane Davenport watercolors as well. And here I'm back using Arteza brush pens to build up some shading, and also in the mouth I use the brush pens. And I realized that I really enjoyed using them. They're nice for shading and doing little details as well. But I'm mixing up some watercolor here with the brush pen. That's me. I'm a mixed media gal. I like to mix it up. Oh, and look, I'm grabbing some white here from Jane Davenport's watercolor set just to lighten some areas. Here I have one of Jane's mermaid markers. Oh, and then I'm alternating again back to the Arteza brush pen, and I realized that both the mermaid marker and the brush pens are cool for making kind of squiggly lines that have a very different value when it comes to like the thickness, and I am starting to really enjoy that I can kind of make thinner and thicker lines, perhaps similar to how you might do what is that called, calligraphy. Not quite, but right. So I'm starting on the background as well here, and I'm back to so this time lapse is fast. Anyway, started adding some to the background, and also I'm using a purple to add some more shading to this face. So purples are quite good that way because they're sort of a version of grey. Lavender is kind of a version of grey in a way, and it helps with shading. So here's the time that this is where I use a black Arteza brush marker, and I'm really enjoying how I can do some really fine details, which it's quite hard to achieve with even a Posca pen, even with the fine nipped one. So I like that it has such a fine tip, and I can do tiny details, which is not always easy. I used to do that actually also with the ink pens that you dip into India ink. You can also achieve it with that, but this was quite cool. Alright, this is the Posca pen here where I like doing my highlights with. I'm just adding all the little highlights, and I recommend doing that as it really brings the face to life. Alright, here, using Tombows and the brush pens, I think, yes, and the brush markers by Arteza again. I'm starting to add some abstract shapes and colors to the background. This is the time for me where I play and become really play with expression and things like that. So here I also decide to add in some stencils with some spray ink. These are by Dilutions, some of my favorite spray inks. And you spray it through a stencil, and look, you get pretty patterns. So yeah. Now my child Elliot's favorite color is green. Hence I worked in green tones, and I brought in some purple, tiny bit of yellow later on as well for some contrast and liveliness. And I thoroughly enjoyed working on this painting in this way. Okay, I'm bringing in some acrylics. I can't quite remember why, but probably just because I felt like it. That's a really good way of working. Just go with what you feel like. Now here I'm playing with some whites. I'm adding some white in. And I'm bringing in a bit of blue as well. And this is in the golden series, a phthalo blue. And it was a heavy-bodied one. Here I'm doing the tiny details again, and I'm starting to bring in already some of my doodles that I love doing. Oh, I so love doodles. My goodness, I do. And some yellow. I think I just wanted to spruce it up a little bit. Don't know. Now then, let's see. So building up these like abstract colors is always real fun. Right, here I'm using a brush pen again. I'm doing these wonky lines that I'm starting to love more and more as I'm working on this painting. More lines in the hair. And as you can see, there's just a lot of like layering. Sorry about the beep. Someone is trying to reach me on Facebook. And I thought I'd switched off the notifications, but clearly hasn't done it. His hair is actually not that dark, but I ended up making it darker just due to the shading. Okay, let me just see what they want. Okay, I managed to switch off the beeps, everyone. Woohoo! Okay, it's doodle time. I love doodle time. I think my child Elliot's less impressed by the butterfly wings and the hearts and stars and flowers, but that is just what I love doing. So here it's time to be adding my doodles, and I'm actually coloring it in here again with an Arteza pen or brush marker. And alternating with a Posca pen, which is my favorite pen for doing doodles over sort of in the final stages of a painting. It's my final step that it's one of my joyful things that I enjoy doing. And I do tend to spend quite some time on adding doodles. Also, often words, they are meditative, fun and playful, and the words help me connect with myself or with the subject that I'm working on. Later on, I put a word on his t-shirt, and it's the word trust, because I'd like him to trust in life. Elliot can sometimes be a little bit prone to anxiety, so I kind of, it's almost like a message or a wish or a blessing I send him, that he will trust that life and the universe looks after him, something like that. Oh yeah, I added some houses here, and then later on I decided to actually remove them again because I felt that they were not well placed. You'll see me do that in just a moment. My little houses are a symbol of belonging, community, love and friendship. They pretty much appear in most, if not all, of my paintings. They are a symbol for me of what I just described, and possibly like, I think it's good. It's related to the fact that I think that anything and everything can be faced with friends and community. So they are a really strong, important part of my life. And so many people don't have community and belonging, and it was something that lacked for me as a child. So it's a symbol that recurs. But anyway, here you can see me delete it, because I felt like just taking up sort of too much attention in that specific area of the painting. So I took them out, and I will add them again a little bit later to the left of Elliot. Okay, tiny little doodles and abstract elements being added all over. Here you go, here are the little houses again in a different place. And yeah, I really enjoyed working with this color scheme as well. And it's something quite special to work on a painting of your own child or children, because I have so much love for them. So it's kind of a really magical thing to do, and to kind of put them into I've never really made them a subject of my painting, so it's a first, everyone, and you see it here on YouTube. A first. It was the premiere. Alright, I think I'm doing final doodles and some shading. Oh, here we go. Here's the word trust. That's what I hope for him. And a couple of little doodles there. There we go. Alright, he's finished, I think. I love this. It's so lovely to work on my child's face and image and surround him with colours that he likes. So his favourite colour is green, actually. I mean, I added in purple and sort of turquoise blues, but it definitely has a green feel. So I'm trying to honour sort of his colour choices. He probably won't appreciate the added butterfly wings, stars and hearts, but that is my signature my signature style, and I enjoy adding those to all my kind of paintings. So hopefully he won't mind. I really like how this came out. I enjoyed the Arteza brush markers. What I like specifically, actually, one of my favorite things to do was to use a black and draw with the black and achieve a kind of these wonky lines. So if I draw lines with a Posca pen, I become kind of fairly straight and clean. But I really liked how with a brush marker you can kind of really draw and then get these kind of interesting lines going, more wonky kind of, you know what I mean, lines. So you're really drawing with a brush, and then you get these kind of such a mix of lines, and I really like that. And the other cool thing about these brush markers was that you may recall at some point I was kind of trying to add line work to the eye, and I could do the finest, look at how fine you can do, the finest little lines should you want to. You see how little these lines are, because the tip is so thin, so you can really alternate the thickness of the lines, and that I can't really achieve, I have to say, with many other with the normal markers. Let's say if you get a Tombow marker, the thin, you can't, that's as thin as it gets, you see? So the tips are not as fine. I have to say that I really liked that about these markers. And also, well, I obviously have a wide variety of colours. I've not been able to use all of them, but look how pretty that is. Cool, I like this. So yeah, very much enjoyed, particularly the differences in line work, line thicknesses, if you will. Very enjoyable. So I would recommend the Arteza brush markers as an additional tool to your art supply arsenal. Yeah, and once again, I hope you enjoyed watching me make this portrait of my son, Elliot, who's currently 7. I will be making a portrait of my other son, Dylan, very soon as well, because I'm enjoying this very much. Love doing it. Yep, so thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this session with me, Tamara Laporte, I run online art classes at willowing.org. That's www.willowing.org. You can join many of my classes at self-study courses or standalone courses, or you can also join a live course that we run. It's called, the current one that we're running is Life Book, and one of my other courses called Ever After is going to start in July as well. So I hope to see you on any of my courses. You're so welcome. We have lots of fun, and yeah, hope to see you there. And don't forget to click subscribe on my channel, and also click the little bell if you want to be notified of each time I upload a new video. Alright guys. So thanks again for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month, year, until we meet again. Much love. Okay, bye.